Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. This is the Queen. I'm here to bring you said information. I'm going to take these glasses off. It's a little reflection. I'm going to bring you some updates, and then we're going to talk about what your plans are for the holidays, a little bit of breaking news, and what you all purchase in the stores. We're just going to chop it up for a little while, and we will go from there. Thank you for joining me. Got to adjust my light a little bit. Let's see. Okay. All right. As most of you know, with Brian Kohlberger, there was an issue about the cameras in the court. Both sides, I believe, did not want the cameras there. So the court has decided they're going to do their own private live stream. This is very weird information. A court order from the judge overseeing the case against Brian Kohlberger, who was suspected of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, outlines new rules regarding cameras in the courtroom during trial. Judge John Judge of Idaho's 2nd Judicial District in Latah County previously said he permitted cameras, but wanted to have more control over them. In the court order, Judge said he will grant Kohlberger's motion to remove cameras operated by the media, including both video and still photography. Instead, a court-operated camera will live stream the trial, which the public will be able to watch online on Judge's YouTube channel. Very interesting. The judge said in his order that this route will ensure the public still has access to see the proceedings for themselves if they cannot attend hearings in person. The ruling was filed, at 5 p.m. Friday and made public through the Idaho Judicial Branch website Monday. This content is a week old. In a case that has garnered intense national interest, Kohlberger 28, as most of you know, is accused of stabbing 4 U of I students to death at off-campus Moscow home in November 2022. The victims were seniors Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, both 21, junior Xander Canolo, and freshman Ethan Chapin, both 20. That's the said information. So the court will have their own live stream device. And I think it's only going to be live as the proceedings are going along. Very, very interesting information. So let's see. What do I have next? How do you all feel about that? Live stream only from the court. No media. I don't see what's the big deal. What's the difference between your camera showing the court, the defendant, lawyers, whomever, witnesses, versus the media? So what are you trying to say? You don't want the media filming because they might zoom in on the perpetrator or the attorneys? I'm confused. Okay, Mr. Sean, the busybody who was on the run, escaped from a jail. He has been apprehended in Florida. We're going to get to that said content. Very interesting information. I'm glad he's off the streets. I pray that he hasn't harmed anyone while he was on the run, because I'm sure that is what most people are wondering. What all was he doing while he was on the run? What all did he get into? WCYD is the source of this information. Taking his time about loading up. And this was uploaded Wednesday. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has confirmed that Sean Williams, who was on the run for more than a month after escaping from a prisoner transport van, was taken into custody in Pinellas County. Williams is facing state charges related to the rape of a child, aggravated sexual battery of a child under 13, and especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor. He's also facing several federal charges, including escape. Williams escaped custody during a prisoner transport on October 18th. Authorities previously said that camera in the transport van wasn't working, and he had left through a broken back window. Very strange. On November 21st, the Federal Bureau of Investigation said he was spotted near Tampa in Pinellas County. The alert came a few days after the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said he was spotted in Silva, North Carolina. Interesting. So he was in North Carolina. Then I guess he made his way on down to Florida. Who does he know in North Carolina? Who does he know in Florida? Very interesting. David Jolly, U.S. Marshal, confirmed that he was taken into custody on Tuesday. He said before the most recent escape from the prison van, Williams was being kept in Kentucky after a separate escape attempt in Washington County, which is here, Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. He said Williams had stolen a car in Greenville a few days ago, and that's what led them to ultimately search for him in Florida. Steal a car. So when you say steal a car, what do you mean by that? He asked somebody to use their car, never brought it back, which only a fool would have loaned him a car, knowing the current situation of him breaking out of the van, or he knows how to break into a car and steal it. Hot rodded. Very interesting. Okay. So he stole a car in Greenville a few days ago. That's what led them to ultimately search for him in Florida. So still, why Florida? What information did they get to say, let's go to Florida to look for Mr. Sean? Very curious. An officer spotted the vehicle Tuesday and a pursuit began. Jolly said Williams bailed out of the car, left his possessions, and began running in Pinellas County. A store clerk at a local 7-Eleven noticed Williams buying a hot dog and recognized him from news footage, and that content is available. She's given an interview to say what she saw that day and that he looked familiar, and how she went outside the store and went around the corner to look to see which direction he went into, but he was gone when she went around the corner of the store. But she made sure to say she stayed on the property, and that interview is by Banfield News Nation, if you need verification. He ran from the store and was hiding underneath a tarp until the police and K9 were able to locate him. Officials say that Williams will have to undergo extradition hearing in Florida before he will be able to be brought back to the region. News 5, WCYB is the source. So Sean Williams is in custody. I don't know if he's been transported back here. I don't even know how that's going to work, quite frankly. Let me make sure I read everything carefully. Yes, it says officials say that Williams will have to undergo an extradition hearing in Florida before he will be able to be brought back to the region. So he has to have a hearing down there, and we have to ask ourselves, what did he do in Florida? Where has he been? And I think I mentioned that during a live stream. I wonder if he was still in the area. So he's been on the run a little while, and for a few weeks, and he stole a car just a few days ago from Tennessee. So that means he was here the whole time, allegedly. So where was he staying? Was he getting help from anybody in the area? Possibly so. Whose car is it that he stole? Does he know the person? Like I said, did they loan it to him? Gave it to him, then turned on him and said, oh, he stole my car? I don't know. But I do believe this is an elaborate setup of him getting out of that van, because you have to use common sense when it comes to breaking out of a window. Usually when you break a window out, it would make noise. And you're talking about, I would assume, heavy glass in a back window of a van. So I don't see how he could have broken that out with his foot, arm, whichever, all the above, and no one on the van heard it. Not the inmate, not the driver. And the other guard that was on the van, allegedly. This issue with the cameras not working. Why do you have a van with prisoners that don't work? That makes no sense. Then we have to go back into time as far as when he was at the facility. What was going on at the facility? Only 2 were supposed to go out for an outing. 2 riding on the van with 2 inmates. 1 breaks out a window, Mr. Sean. He takes off into the world and stays on the run for a couple weeks. And you don't have cameras working on the van. Did you report him breaking out the glass? Call it in. I find this very strange. I find this very, very strange that this man is breaking out a damn window and nobody says anything. What, during transport? So did one of the guards call to say we need backup? We have an inmate escaping the van, attempting to escape the van, because he had to kick it out and then jump out. So then you got to ask yourself, was the van moving? Where was it exactly when he was able to exit the van? He had blood on him. We heard that a few weeks ago. Went to a lady's house, I think to use a phone or something. She didn't let him in. Then you have to ask that question. Did she talk to him through the door or through a screen door, or she opened the door? Now imagine she opened the door. He could have pushed his way in, hurt her, harmed her, robbed her. This is a very weird story. I do believe he concocted this escape. We have information that he has tried before from Washington County Jail. So you have to ask yourself, who has helped aid him into escaping? Because this sounds like an elaborate plan, and it sounds like the guards are involved, because I have not heard that they pulled over to try to assess the situation. That is something I have not heard. And I find it very interesting that I have not heard that the van was pulled over by the guards and that they went to see what the hell he was doing back there. Okay? Then you have to ask another question. How were the inmates handcuffed? Shackles from foot to hands, hand to foot. How was it? In front, behind them, did they have on handcuffs? Did they have on handcuffs with chains around their waist? So you have to ask all those questions. Or nobody had on any handcuffs. Nobody had on any handcuffs. Nobody had on any chains. They were just riding freely on the van. Did he pay these guards to help him escape? Because this doesn't sound right. The fact that he's tried before, he got away with it this time, finally apprehended in the state of Florida. But you have to ask, did he have help? Because I think he had help. I think he paid those guards. He told them he would pay them monies to get him out of there. And then he made the escape, because I have not heard that they assessed the situation while he was breaking out the window. And you're not going to make me believe on kick number one, the glass fell out and he made it out of the window. Doesn't sound right. That's my content on Mr. Sean. Very strange. So, for those of you who are following this network, I'd like to know what you all have done since getting your bellies full Thanksgiving. Did you eat enough food? Did you get full? Did you go shopping? What are some of the things you all have done since yesterday? I'm so very curious. Did you all order things online? Were you in the stores today? Were you in the stores last night? If so, what have you purchased? I'm very curious. I'm very curious of what you all have purchased. I'd like to know some of the things that you all have bought. I'm going to go into my chat and see what everybody's talking about. For some reason, it's not showing up over here, because I'm doing live, YouTube live from the computer, different than when I'm usually using the live stream, StreamYard. Oh, it's always something, is it not? I'm a little slow motion today. $15 watching, thank you. Now it's showing me that the chat is turned off. I never put it on that. That's crazy. So now I can't hear. I can't get your comments. That's why I didn't want to go do this from this computer. But anyway, let's talk about Mr. Sean, since I can't do the comments right now. Because I was trying to scroll the screen up and hit the button, and obviously it's got it on kid mode. Computers. Sean Combs has some problems. There is a third female that has come forward with an allegation of a sexual assault, and we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to get out of here. I'm kind of confused. One thing I want to say is this, pertaining to these allegations. I'm not here to say who did what and who didn't, but I will say that this Cassie female who he's dated for a long period of time, one would think that perhaps the allegations that she brought forward are true only because he paid immediately after the allegations came forward. And if I know that what you're saying about me is not true, okay, whether I'm poor, rich, middle class, whatever, why would I pay you? Why would I give you money on allegations that you are saying about me, of what I've done to you? I know I didn't hurt you, didn't harm you, didn't traffic you, didn't make videos of you, didn't beat you, didn't. So, whatever the allegations are with her, why would I then, what was the next day or so, cut you a check, a settlement? That makes no sense to me. And I just learned he has, several companies. So those entities have been sued as well, are being sued. This is baffling to me that a person would immediately settle a lawsuit. Undisclosed amount. The amount has not been mentioned to the public. I am curious because if I'm not mistaken, I thought it was 30 million. So I asked someone today, I said tonight to Kim, I said, Kim, if it's 30 million that was on the books, how much do you think Sean paid Cassie? And Kim said about 15 million. So tell me, what do you think? Do you believe he paid 15 million or he paid the whole damn 30? What did they settle for? I am curious. Okay. We're going to go back to this issue pertaining to Miss Cassie. And also, Cuba Gooding Jr. faces 2 sexual assault lawsuits in New York. This must be a busy week for New York because now he's under the radar as well. This is some very interesting information. Okay. Now the brand that Mr. Puffy has, Diddy, whatever you want to call him, is being phased out at Macy's after a 2-decade partnership. I'm going to bring you that information as well. Oh, wow. This ain't good. This ain't good at all. I've got so many articles here, and I want to make sure I bring you the latest. And also, Rex Heuermann's wife, Asa, has decided to get her hustle on by doing a documentary, and I hear it's worth $1 million. So who is the streaming company that will be making this documentary about she, her family, and Mr. Rex Heuermann? Is this Netflix, Hulu? Who is it? Because I'm very curious. I kind of got my sights on it being Netflix. Okay. Trying to bring all this up. Excuse me. Like I said, I've got so much content stored and I have to go through all of it. I have to keep a database so I can keep up with all the storylines because there's so many. And also, rapper ASAP, who is currently dating Rihanna, has 2 children with her. He will be standing trial on felony charges that he fired a gun at a former friend. Just bringing you the latest updates pertaining to breaking news. It's a lot going on. Since the allegations against Puffy, he's been out. He's come out of the house. And word is he hasn't been looking too good. I'd say you wouldn't be looking good either. If you're being sued for sexual assault, you possibly would have a sad or distraught look on your face as well. I'm going to put these on. Sorry for the reflection, everybody. This was 4 days ago. Diddy appears stressed out in new photos obtained by Page Six following his recent lawsuit settlement with Cassie. Paparazzi captured the bad boy mogul hiding his face in his hands and pacing around his estate in Miami anxiously on Saturday. Wearing a t-shirt and sweatpants, he sat alongside his chief of staff, Christina Koram. At one point, Diddy laid down on a couch after Koram showed him something on her cell phone. I don't know where this could be, where they would know he was lying down on a couch. Were they peering through his house windows? I'm confused. Cassie sued Diddy for physical, sexual, mental abuse last week, but the two reached a settlement just one day later. I've decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have to have some level of control, Cassie wrote in a statement. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. In his own statement, Diddy added, we have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love, quotations. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. Despite the settlement, Diddy's lawyer, Ben Brafman, clarified in a statement that it does not imply guilt on the part of his client. He wrote, just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is in no way an admission of wrongdoing. Mr. Combs' decision to settle the lawsuit does not in any way undermine his flat-out denial of the claims. He is happy they got to a mutual settlement and wishes Ms. Ventura the best. The lawsuit had claimed that Diddy was prone to uncontrollable rage and frequently beat Ms. Ventura savagely, quote unquote. We're not permitted to post the images here directly, but if you'd like to see them, you can do so by clicking the via link below. This is in the article, I don't know. Be on the lookout for further updates. This is hot new hip hop. So somebody has pictures? So then you got to ask yourself that. Well, if he was beating her, how many times did he beat her? How far into the relationship, allegedly, were the beatings? Any eyewitnesses? What's the police called? Did she have to go to the hospital? When? And why did she stay? So let's say he started beating her early on. One's going to ask, why did you stay? Midway through the relationship, why did you stay? So I'm curious. Because the fact that this hot new hip hop says, we're not permitted to post the images here directly, but then they tell you where to go to see them hit the link. This is very strange. The two have come to some sort of agreement. Do not know what the agreement is. Do not know what the dollar amount is. But you don't hear anything negative coming from either party, which is very interesting. Is she happy and content with the settlement? And then you have to ask the ultimate question. Why would you, Mr. Combs, settle a lawsuit one day after the allegations are brought forward? One day. We hear of lawsuits going on for years, lingering, especially when they're civil, because they're not criminal. The behavior may be criminal, but the lawsuit is civil. And this happens a lot with people who go to trial for alleged crime and then they get off, mistrial, whatever, not found guilty. So then the person decides to sue the person for damages. What do you think? Do you believe the allegations against Sean Combs? I find it very interesting. Maybe I should read some of the comments. Because this seems very, very strange. Oh, Lordy. Or maybe not. I don't know why this thing keeps jumping off. Let's talk about the clothing line. I don't know what the hell's going on with Cuba Gooding Jr. They show where he's pled guilty. It's like, what did you have, an eyewitness? You had cameras where people could see, so you said, well, I'll go ahead, I'll plead guilty. Or you decided to do the right thing. Oh, I know I did wrong by these ladies. I'm going to go ahead and plead guilty. Cuba Gooding Jr., I don't know what's going on with you, man. First was R. Kelly, Bill Cosby. Then we had the Weinstein debacle, Epstein debacle. It doesn't seem to stop. But this is what I told someone today. There's really no telling what has been going on behind closed doors with these men and women that they meet in the street, in the entertainment field. There are probably way worse stories. We just haven't heard them because most of the women, 9 times out of 10, would feel shame. They're still trying to be in that business, whether they're trying to be a dancer or actress or whatever they're doing, stylists, hair, whatever, makeup, clothes. And they don't want to be blackballed because we heard that Weinstein, he would do that. After he's made his advances and passes and groping. He blackballed the women to where they couldn't get work. So really, he just used you. He got what he wanted, whether you complied or didn't. And then after that, you're thinking, oh well, he'll definitely get me some work. But no, he got what he wanted from you. He has no use for you after he's touched you, raped you, whatever he did. You know, if you believe the allegations against Mr. Weinstein, this is some crazy nonsense. Radar Online is the source of this information. This was uploaded 2 days ago. Diddy's clothing brand, Sean John, will no longer be carried in Macy's, with an insider connected to the retail giant telling RadarOnline.com exclusively that the rapper's label won't be available on the department store website effective this month. Sean John is offered on Macy's website and in select stores, but our source shared that corporate has been evaluating the brand for a while now, noting it hasn't been selling like it used to in the late 90s, early 2000s. They emphasized the decision to phase out the label had been on an ongoing process before Cassie's lawsuit. So is that true? Because what you have to ask yourself is this. If you saw somewhere down the line, past 5 years, 2 years, whatever, his clothes weren't making a good profit, perfume, cologne, accessories, why would you keep the brand at your store? That makes no sense to me. Now if somebody sues him for sexual assault, and then you say, oh, okay, well, we no longer will be needing your services. As part of our ongoing review of our brand portfolio, the Sean John collection has started to phase out of assortment since early fall 2023, the well-connected source told Radar Online on Wednesday. We're told Diddy's products are being removed and won't be available on the site, with the insider sharing. It's the course of business, quote unquote. Retail stores are always evaluating and deciding what's relevant to consumers, and people are no longer buying Sean John. Are they not? Or are they buying his products somewhere else? I don't know. Sources close to Diddy played off Macy's move, revealing the rapper's brand is being reimagined, but has no official plans to release. They also said the news about the department store is relevant because this is part of the process. Diddy started the clothing label in 1998. He sold 90% of the stake to Global Brands Group in 2016, but purchased Sean John back in December 2021. Interesting. For $7.5 million after the holding company went bankrupt. Macy's has been carrying Sean John since the beginning, with the musical mogul signing an exclusive partnership with the department store in 2010. Well, that's a long time. As the outlet reported, the rapper was sued by Cassie last week in an explosive lawsuit. She claimed her ex raped her, physically abused her, powdered her with drugs, and forced her to perform illicit acts on sex workers throughout their 10-year relationship. She also claimed Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car after discovering the two had been hanging out. That jumps off. Well, that's crazy. While I was reading. Okay. Now that's creepy. Okay, so blew up Kid Cudi's car after discovering the two had been hanging out while her relationship with him was on pause. Kid Cudi confirmed his vehicle did blow up, with his spokesperson telling the New York Times this is all true. So does this guy, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Cudi or Kudai, does he believe that Mr. Combs is behind the fire to his car? Is it still an open case pertaining to his car? How long were they broke up? She started hanging with this guy. Did she and this guy have a sexual relationship? Did she then go back to Sean Combs? You have to ask that too, because we hear that this has been an on and off situation between the two. Diddy, denied Cassie's allegations, claiming she had blackmailed him before filing the $30 million suit. So blackmailed him for what exactly? See, Sean, this is where people are going to have a problem. With all this little bit of tidbit of information coming out, whether it's true or not, by either you or her, she's tried to blackmail you, so you say. So why didn't you try to press charges against her? Why didn't you put her on tape? Why didn't you record her to bring forward allegations and see if law enforcement could bring forward charges for blackmail, bribery, however you want to word it? This is strange to me. Well, then we have to ask ourselves, were you two in an intimate relationship when she tried to blackmail you before? And what is it exactly she was blackmailing you about? Same allegations, something different, what? This is weird to me. So he's denied the allegations and then claiming she had blackmailed him before filing the $30 million. So is this why she filed the lawsuit? It's because he wouldn't pay her on whatever allegations she brought forward to him Did she even give a reason? Or she just said, hey, I need some money. But in order to blackmail somebody, you'd have to stipulate what you're blackmailing them about, or it would be blackmail. This is so crazy to me. The world was shocked when Cassie settled her lawsuit with Diddy 1 day later, with the 37-year-old singer releasing a statement about her decision. And it goes back to what I had already told you. You know, they're settling this matter amicably, blah, 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 blah. She wanted to have control over the situation. She wanted to thank her family, fans, and the lawyers for their unwavering support. And once again, Mr. Diddy says basically the same thing. We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love. The details of the settlement have not been released. So we have a settlement brought forward 1 day later, which is very strange. A lawyer saying it does not mean he's guilty, which most people will think that he is. You now hear he said that she blackmailed him before filing the $30 million suit, but then yet you settle 1 day later, which is strange because one could say, well, hell, if you could settle 1 day later after the allegations go forward in public, why couldn't you have went on and just paid her when she first blackmailed you? So then you got to ask that. When was the last time she called him, texted, whatever, to say, hey, I need some money from you. If you don't, I'm going to tell the world you did this, 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 and this to me. I'm confused. When was the first time she contacted Sean Combs about these allegations and wanting money? What was the original price then? 30 million, 15, 12, 2, what? Does she have anything on tape, audio of him admitting to any of the crimes? Is that why he settled? He didn't want anything to get out that's on audio. I don't know. We now have a new allegation. Him videotaping a young lady. I'm going to bring you that information too. Radar Online was that last source. This is not good. Whether you're a fan of his work or not, this is not good at all. Now Macy's has backed out of dealing with him. And we have other famous people who have joined the ranks with Mr. Sean Combs with the allegations of sexual assault. Cuba Gooding Jr., Axl Rose. I don't know who else is going to pop up out of a cake. This is crazy to me. Let's see what's going on with Mr. Cuba Gooding Jr. And then I'll jump back to Mr. Sean Combs. Yeah, because Sean's got some new claims now. Well, there's an expiration on the Survivors Act, so everybody's going to have to get it together because nobody's going to be able to file a lawsuit of anything that happened in the past. You might just come forward and say, oh, yeah, he did this to me, she did this to me, but you're not going to get any monetaries. You're not going to get any money. And in the end, it's still up to the person if they want to pay. It's very strange. Do you believe the allegations against Sean Combs? Let's go there. Do you believe the allegations against him? Do you believe he assaulted this woman, beat her up, trafficked her? There's some nonsense about prostitutes. She had to go find them. Then, as I had said before, were these prostitutes for himself, her? Because it really makes no sense. I'm telling you to go get the men. So where'd she go get them? Online? What? Agency? What? Off the street? What? You want to just watch her with the men? So were the men gay, bisexual, or straight men? Did he participate in sex with the men? Or he just watched? Who was the beneficiary of her going to get the men? Oh my goodness. This is absolutely ridiculous. This was November 23rd, pertaining to Cuba Gooding Jr. NBC News is a source. Mr. Gooding Jr. was sued on Wednesday by two women who sexually assaulted cases against the Oscar-winning actor. Underlay a criminal prosecution that ended with him pleading guilty but serving no jail time. In a complaint filed in a New York State court in Manhattan, Jasmine Abbey said the Jerry Maguire star forcibly kissed her without her consent in September 2018 while she was working as a cocktail waitress at the Lavo nightclub in Midtown Manhattan. The other plaintiff, Kelsey Harbert, accused Gooding of groping her breasts in June of 2019 at the Magic Hour rooftop bar, also in Midtown. He must like Midtown a lot. Lawyers who have represented Gooding in previous civil and criminal litigation over his alleged sexual misconduct did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Our clients were deprived of the justice they sought in the criminal case. Gloria Allred, a lawyer for the plaintiffs, oh my goodness, they got Miss Allred. I don't think we're shocked by that. Said in a statement, they are now seeking justice and accountability in their civil cases. Abby and Herbert Harbert are seeking unspecified damages for assault and battery under the Adult Survivors Act, a special New York state law letting women sue their alleged abusers even if the statutes of limitations have run out. The law expires after the U.S. Thanksgiving Day holiday, which would be today. Other famous celebrity men have also been sued under the law, including hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs, whose case settled after one day, as I just told you. Axl Rose, the former lead singer of Guns N' Roses, was sued under the law on Wednesday by Sheila Kennedy, an actress and former Penthouse Pet of the Year, over an alleged 1989 assault. Oh, wow. A lawyer for Rose denied the claims to people, calling them fictional. Gooding won an Academy Award in 1997 for Best Supporting Actor Jerry Maguire. He played guilty in April of 2022 to a misdemeanor charge of forcibly touching Abby, who was not identified by name at the time but revealed her identity in her lawsuit. The charge was downgraded 6 months later to harassment, to which Gooding pleaded guilty after complying with a plea agreement that required alcohol and behavior modification, treatment, and no further arrest. Accusations by Abby, Harbert, and a third woman were the basis for a 6-count indictment against Gooding, which his guilty plea resolved. Harbert at the time expressed outrage she could not hold him accountable in the court for irreparable damage he caused. In June, Gooding settled a civil lawsuit in Manhattan federal court moments before the trial by a woman who accused him of a 2013 rape. Terms were not disclosed. The woman had sought $6 million. NBC News is the source. So we've got groping women, him pleading guilty to those charges, all filed in the state of New York in court. Jasmine and a Kelsey, two different females. This is all under the Adult Survivors Act. This is very strange to me. So he pled guilty, Mr. Cuba, in April of 2022 to a misdemeanor of forcibly touching her. The charge was downgraded 6 months later to harassment. He pled guilty to that, complying with a plea agreement that required alcohol and behavior treatment modification, whatever that means. And then this third woman, plus the other two ladies, were the basis of a 6-count indictment against Mr. Gooding, which his guilty plea resolved. But then it says in June, he settled a lawsuit in Manhattan of a woman who accused him of rape in 2013. So that's years before, because these incidents are 18 and 19. Her lawsuit was $6 million. And he settled that. So let's think about this for a second. You've got 18, 19, two separate women that you've pled guilty to a plea, downgraded charges. Then we have an issue of a sexual assault against a woman in 2013. She wanted $6 million, and you settled that suit before trial, which I find very interesting. So that's 3 different women. That's 3 women. And something's bad about this. 3 women. 2018, 2019, and then we're going way back to 2013, and you settled that 2013 sexual assault before it went to trial. So one would say you must have known that you did this, of course. That's why you settled. Then you fast forward, we're into 2018, 19. You've done this again, the groping, the touching, inappropriate. You're going to say that you were drinking, drunk, whatever, had to take some classes, and you took a plea on those. So will these women be suing these? Will they get any money? Will he pay out for these two? This Jasmine Abay and this Kelsey Harbert. Both assaulted in Midtown, I guess in public places. And as Ms. Allred says, they're seeking justice and accountability in their civil cases. They are seeking unspecified damages for assault and battery under the Adult Survivors Act, a special New York state law letting women sue their alleged abusers, even if the statutes of limitations have run out. And that's possibly what happened with Mr. R. Kelly, why he was able to be sued. New York. And I'm assuming all these cases took place in New York. Assumedly. But what's got me really piqued my interest is this Axl Rose, the lead singer, the former lead singer of Guns N' Roses. This assault this lady's talking about is from 1989. That's when the Queen came out of high school, 89. My goodness. How old was he and how old was she? Where did it take place allegedly? Is this just an easy way for a woman to get some money? Is this what is happening with each of these cases? Easy money. But with Cuba, it's one would say, well, he's settling and pleading. So that don't sound like somebody's making that up, whether it's old or not. You are saying, I take the plea. I will pay something. So you paid for one assault from 2013, and then you've pled guilty in 2022. What's the issue? That's what I don't understand. All these beautiful women out here, why are you all needing to sexually assault a woman? Drug her, assault her, when there's women who will willingly give you sex for free? I don't understand. This is where I'm very confused. It's the one thing I never could understand about sexual assault. You ask a woman, hey, would you like to do something? And she says no. Then she says no. You keep it moving. You go find you somebody else. Why do you need to take it from her? For what reason? It makes no sense to me. And as Mr. Bill Cosby said during a deposition or whatever court, well, this is what we did back in the 70s. We gave them Quaaludes. They took Quaaludes. I gave it to them, blah, blah, blah. So basically a person would say with some sense, well, you'd be the same type to continue doing that because that's what worked for you in the 70s. So it would work for you in the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, so on and so forth. So why would I think you didn't rape these women, assault these women? Because you admitted, oh, we gave them this, and everybody knows, it's a drug to subdue you, make you lax in behavior. So if you did it in the 70s, you would continue to do it because that's what worked for you. That's common sense. You have to be aware of your faculties and the people you fool with, going along with men anywhere, taking drinks from people you don't see them pour the drink. You have to use your common sense. You can't trust people, whether they're famous or not. No such thing. Now Mr. Combs has another assault case. Here we go. Oh, Lord, Dog City outside. I don't know what's going on. Sounds like somebody's dog is loose. That don't sound good. And he doesn't sound small either. I won't doubt that the dogs that be across the fence have jumped the fence. How about that? And the person next door with the little bitty chihuahua, whatever that thing is, he won't be lasting long if that big dog gets a hold of him. I'm just saying. USA Today is the source, everybody. Sean Diddy Combs is in legal trouble once again, facing a second lawsuit that accuses the music mogul of drugging and raping a then college student in 1991. The woman, Joy Dickerson Neal, filed her complaint Thursday in Manhattan Supreme Court, a day before the New York State Adult Survivors Survivors Act expiration date and alleges she was drugged, sexually assaulted, and abused and was the victim of revenge porn, according to court documents obtained by USA Today. Combs videotaped the January 1991 assault and distributed the tape to others in the music industry, according to the suit. This caused severe harm to Ms. Dickerson Neal's reputation, career prospects, and emotional well-being. Dickerson Neal's attorney, Jonathan Goldhurst, said in a news release sent to USA Today Thursday, USA Today, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and Combs Enterprises are listed as defendants in the suit as well. Dickerson demands a trial by jury, okay? The latest accusations against Combs stem from a time period in which the now billionaire was just beginning to rise to prominence. In 1991, he had not yet released his debut album, No Way Out. At the time, according to the filing, Combs was working as a talent director at Uptown Records. Both Dickerson Neal and Combs shared mutual friends and acquaintances, the suit says. Dickerson Neal also once appeared with Combs in a music video. While on school break for the holidays in 1991, Dickerson Neal, who was a college student at the time, she was attending Syracuse University. That's so interesting because that's the school I wanted to attend when I was a preteen. I was obsessed with going to Syracuse. This is just so weird to me because I was a fan of one of the basketball players that played for Syracuse, New York. His name was Ron. I think it's Ron Sickley. He was a basketball player, a very talented player at that time. And I just was obsessed with the basketball team and obsessed with going to that school. And here we see this lady. She had to be a smart cookie to get into Syracuse. She was a student at the time and reluctantly agreed to go to dinner with Mr. Combs, the suit says. During their date, Combs had intentionally drugged her, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. The suit alleges Combs allegedly spiked her drink when Dickerson Neal left her drink unattended to use the restroom, the suit reads. After dinner, which was held at a location where she had worked as a server, so this was at a place where she worked, the two continued to spend the night together. Dickerson Neal recalls Combs taking her to a music studio and then to his home where the assault allegedly took place. So they're having dinner where she worked, then they're going to his music studio, and then they're going to where he lived. Very interesting. It says she felt humiliated and hurt, yet she could not escape the assault. Following the alleged sexual assault, a male friend, also identified as Devontae Swain, a member of the R&B group Jodeci, many of you may know who he is, revealed to Dickerson Neal that he had viewed the sex tape along with other men. Dickerson Neal asked Swain who had seen the video, and he replied, "Everyone," as quote unquote. A spokesperson for Combs said in a statement Tuesday that this last-minute lawsuit is an example of how a well-intentioned law can be turned on its head. Mr. Dickerson's 32-year-old story is made up and not credible, the statement to TMZ continued. Mr. Combs never assaulted her, and she implicates companies that did not exist. Well, what companies would that be? I'm confused. This is purely a money grab and nothing more. Michelle Kaola, another attorney for Combs' accuser, said in a release sent to USA Today, "We are privileged to assist our client, Ms. Dickerson Neal, as she courageously steps forward in an effort to hold Mr. Combs to account. Everyone deserves to be heard, and Combs should not be immune from liability because of his wealth and public stature." The Thursday filing alleges that after Dickerson Neal was sexually assaulted by Combs, she was admitted to the hospital for severe depression and suicide ideation. The sexual assault and public exposure of it caused her to suffer overwhelming feelings of humiliation, embarrassment, violation, and constant apprehension about who all viewed it. The filing as Combs' success and wealth rose quickly, she tried to block his existence out and she tried to put her life back on track. The suit alleges that Combs repeatedly pursued Dickerson Neal for a romantic or sexual relationship, but that because she had heard the mogul had a history of treating women badly, she rejected his advances. Sister Soldier, a rapper from the Bronx, had even warned Dickerson Neal about becoming involved with Combs after the two had been featured together in the music video for Straight from the Soul by Finesse and Sinquest, the suit adds. So this is where this is too complicated. So her version is that he pursued her. But because she heard he had a habit of mistreating women, she rejected his advances. So I'm trying to understand. She rejected the advances before this assault or after the assault. That's where I'm trying to understand. And then they have the Sister Soldier rapper saying she warned her about his behavior. So what does she know? And what has she heard back then? Was she ever witnessed any sexual assaults or groping, mistreatment of women? Is it true he made a tape of her without her knowledge? As someone said to me tonight, how do you know she wasn't down with this filming of it? I don't know. Because if you're going to his house, he easily could have the camera up somewhere hidden and you wouldn't even see it and know that you're being filmed. And a lot of women have been filmed and did not know that they were filmed. So you're entitled to your opinion if you believe he told her he was filming her or asked her to film. She went along with it. But who would want to do that? That's crazy to me. There's no way you could trust him because he's famous or was up and coming, however you want to word it. That makes no sense to me. One day after Cassie accused Combs of rape, sex trafficking, physical abuse in a lawsuit, both parties announced that a resolution has been reached. As I told you before, they did not disclose the settlement amount. Cassandra Ventura, known professionally as singer Cassie, filed a sex trafficking, sexual assault lawsuit on November 17th against ex-boyfriend Combs in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York, according to court documents obtained by USA Today. In a statement on November 18th, repeats what I've already said, amicably, both of them. Both decided to amicably resolve everything. The suit names Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Combs Enterprises, LLC, Epic Records, sought unspecified monetary damages by Miss Cassie. What is the Adult Survivors Act? And I'm sure many of you are curious. The complaint was filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which has given victims of sexual abuse a 1-year window for claims that would otherwise be barred by time limits. It is set to expire after Thanksgiving, which today is a new day after Thanksgiving. So nobody can go use this act to sue anybody in the state of New York. Goldhirsch added Thursday, our client has not been able to escape the continuing impact of the harm Combs caused her many years ago. Through the Adult Survivors Act, she can avail herself to the courts to finally seek justice. In recent days leading up to the Adult Survivors Act deadline, Jamie Foxx, Combs' former Bad Boy president, Harvey Pierre, Axl Rose, Interscope Records co-founder Jimmy Iovine, and Cuba Gooding Jr. have all been sued for sexual assault. And if you yourself are a survivor of sexual assault, RAINN offers support through the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 800-656-HOPE and online .rainn, lowercase, that's with 2 N's, .org, and it's spelled RAINN. If you or someone you know may be struggling with suicidal thoughts, you can call or text the U.S. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988 anytime, day or night, or chat online at 988lifeline.org. USA Today is the source. So as I've brought you content during this live stream pertaining to other famous men who have also been brought up on allegations under this Survivors Act, we have Jamie Foxx. There's a new allegation against him. Mr. Combs, Harvey Pierre, this is Bad Boy's former president, Axl Rose, the lead singer for Guns N' Roses, Interscope Records co-founder Jimmy Iovine, and Cuba Gooding Jr., who I brought you information, who has settled, pled guilty to 2 assaults or groping or whatever, and a 2013 alleged assault. A woman brought forward charges on that and won $60 million in monies, and I do not know what the amount was. $19 viewing. As I said a little while ago, There's no need for a man to rape another woman or a man or a child. Same thing for a woman. All rules apply to everybody with 2 feet. A person is either interested or they're not. There's no need in pressuring a person into sex, either by phone, text, messages, groping, fondling, inviting them over, jumping on them, whatever. They say no, they mean no. There are people who are willingly apt to give up sex. It's not a hard, chore. But nobody has the right to take it from you. That's the point. Nobody has the right to film you without your knowledge. Nobody has the right to put anything into your drink to subdue you to where you are not coherent, you're not lucid, and aware of your faculties. You're hearing all these allegations against Mr. Combs after he's just settled a suit with Miss Cassie. And as I said, I find it very strange that he would settle a suit with her a day later. Then he allegedly said, oh, she was blackmailing me before she filed a lawsuit. Then one's going to ask, well, why did you date him so long? You dated him 10 years on and off. So when did he do all this sex trafficking, beating? See where I'm going? Because naturally it doesn't matter because wrong is wrong. But there are people who judge according to a timeline, such as also bringing forward the allegations, such as this issue with Axl Rose, 1989. That is a long time to bring forward an allegation. To say, oh, this man did this to me. He did this to me. Why do it now? Is it because of the law? This Survivors Act that is now null and void as of today. Cuba Gooding, he had no problem with letting the world know, yeah, I did this to her. Now, 2013, that's 3 different women. So one's going to say, well, if you did it in 1819 and admitted to the guilt, I'm definitely not going to think the person in 2013 lied. Some of you may have a problem with the women coming forward so late in life, as the stories we heard with Mr. Robert Kelly. Why are you telling it now? Why are you talking about it now? Well, see, that's the whole point about life is that people don't have to tell you that they were sexually assaulted or raped or molested as a child, groped as an adult, because first of all, it's not coffee table talk. And a lot of people are not going to believe you because 1, the person is famous. 2, they like the person. Same thing if they weren't famous. Well, I know him. I like him. He ain't never done nothing to me. Or I don't know that he acts like that. That's the point. You're not supposed to know. Because it's even worse if people know, oh, yeah, he's a groper. He likes to grope. He likes to fondle women. He likes to touch women's breasts or buttocks, their private parts. He don't got to know them, but he'll just go up and grope them. And you have men that do that. Tap women on their tail, grab their tail. You're not supposed to do that. It's inappropriate. You're not supposed to touch, fondle, grope, make nasty, derogatory comments. You're not supposed to put Mickeys in people's drinks. You're not supposed to be assaulting children. It's all the same. The rules apply to everybody because it's wrong. It's nefarious. It's disgusting. And it shows that you're sick, that you have big boy problems. And yes, we do have women who are assaulters as well. And we are hearing more women assaulting children, boy children, as of late. And to me, as I told someone, I feel like this is an issue of people who did not have adequate childhoods. Because to me, when you decide you want to assault a child, it leads me to believe you didn't have a childhood. You didn't grow up doing things that most normal children did, such as go outside and play, activities. Maybe you were stuck in the house, kept in the house. Your mother didn't let you socialize, fraternize with other children. It's something because it's weird. Not all cases, I'm sure, but I think a lot of the times when it comes to men seeking nefarious company of a child, one would say, what is his aptitude up here? What was his life like as a child? Because what do you look at a child, a girl, child, teenager, as somebody that you want to desire sexually? It's wrong, and you know it's wrong. So then you have to ask, well, did he have a childhood growing up? What was his life like? See, we learned all that with Robert Kelly. Assaulted by a sister, assaulted by a male neighbor. That starts to change your identity once you have been violated yourself. So now you equate attention, affection, love with sex. That's why a lot of girls are promiscuous, because they have been violated. So, oh, if I get attention from that boy, I could touch him, I could grope him, I could have sex with him. He'll like me. Well, we know, no, he will not. Sex has never made a person like you, be interested, want to be your boyfriend, girlfriend, have a life with you. I think most of us know this that are grown. But that's the reason why children don't have any business being, 1, violated, 2, having sex amongst children. Teenagers, because they're not mentally equipped to handle sex with another human being. And then they can become grown in their 20s and they're still struggling because it is a very personal act. And this is why people don't need to be sleeping with people they don't know. Everyone's made a mistake, slept with the wrong person, and you realize, oh my God, what have I done? This person is horrible. They're hideous. That's why. Because you need to get to know them. And you get to know them and still realize you don't have no business sleeping with them. Once again, regretting down the line, having sexual relations with a person. But where I have a problem with all of this is not necessarily it being late in the game, but if the allegations are true, that a person carried on still dealing with the person, that would be iffy. And the fact that the person's been walking around this whole time and people liking them and putting them on pedestals, and they've been doing this type of nefarious behavior, raping, trafficking, going out, picking up people for them to have sex with, as we heard a lot of that with R. Kelly. So now we're hearing this with Mr. Puffy. And as I said, people are going to question this woman. Well, one, why are you just now telling us? Why did you continue to do the behavior? You had free will to walk, roam, walk out the door. Why would you go look for men for him, you? If you weren't like that, you weren't down with having other men sexually, if that's how it went, so you really don't know, why agree? That's the point. If you didn't want to watch him have sex with men. Because see, I don't know how it went. And I'm going to ask that now. Puffy, who were the men for? You or her or both? See, this is some R. Kelly type stuff, and it's a road I don't want to travel down because this is vile to me. Because your mind is going to wonder, especially with the gay rumors. So people are really going to wonder, who were the men for, Mr. Combs? Because you've been rumored to be a homosexual. So did you have her go get the guys because you didn't want your name on paper, leaving a paper trail? But this is the gist of this. Once the men show up, let's say, and they were for you, they realize who you are, they can go kiss and tell. Oh yeah, they used this girl to come, solicit me, and I went along and went to the room, the house, whatever. And really it was for a Mr. Combs. The music producer, orchestrator, blah, 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 blah. So really, that didn't make sense either to me. Because I was like, okay, even if he used her to go get the men, for them to share, let's say, or just for him. So that means she then is down with him being gay, bisexual. The men could talk. So it doesn't really matter who went and got them. You all following? This is wicked. Who's next? Because it seems this is a fad. And it's been a fad because we've learned in time that there are many sadists out here and that some people know about them, some people don't. We had already heard over the years that people knew about Weinstein, Epstein, their behavior. But what can you do? You can't tell a grown man how to act. But Hollywood knew about Weinstein, and it was just a joke of the day. Hey, don't go along with that guy. Don't go sit in that fat guy's office because you're going to get touched. See, that's not funny. And there are people like that we do know of that love to touch. And I'm sure there's some slick talk about them too. Oh, don't get in his car. Don't go with him. Oh, he will do it and try to get in your pants. That's a terrible thing to say about a human being. But it comes from somewhere because 9 times out of 10, there's some truth to it. So a lot of the gossip you hear about people, there is truth to it. Maybe not everything, but some of it. A little bit of it. And that seems to be where this is going. Because now we got to wait to see who's going to jump out of a bag on Mr. Combs again, Mr. Cuba Jr. again, but they can't sue in the state of New York. How about that? Maybe you could sue somewhere else, but you won't be suing in New York. And I also question the women pertaining to Mr. Cuba Gooding. Are they white? Because he likes white women. And this is not to be racist or anything, but that crossed my mind because I've seen him in photographs with white women. So I was curious, are any of these women brown? Because I think he has a preference, which that's his choice. But I'm just wondering. But as I said in the end, it doesn't matter. Color, creed, height, weight. You have no business touching people without their permission. You have no business putting any type of drug in their drink, and you have no business filming them. That's even worse. Because now there's a record of you raping someone. And you know that's wrong. That is wrong. Earlier in this live stream, I brought you updates pertaining to Sean Williams, who was on the run from East Tennessee. He has to have a hearing in Florida. Then he will be extradited back here to East Tennessee for said assault charges here. Miss Asa Ellera, who's married to Rex Heuermann, has been offered $1 million for a documentary. Do not know who the source of the documentary company is, but I'm sure we'll get wind of that. Give me your opinion pertaining to that, because I believe I put a poll up on my channel about a week ago pertaining to Asa and this documentary business, her going to court, supporting her husband. Now, why all of a sudden does she have something up her sleeve? The house is now in her name. What else has been given to her name? What did they talk about in jail? Very curious. Bryan Kohberger, the suspects in the Idaho forest slayings. There will be a camera in the court, but it will be on the court's feed, not the media. So there'll be no outside media to film any proceedings in the courtroom once it goes to trial. And I think it's really a disservice, because the judge is basically telling us we don't know how to think for ourselves and that we are easily manipulated by the media and this and that. Everybody knows that even with some things that you watch, everything's about perception. So it doesn't matter if the camera panned onto Kohberger, the judge, the lawyer. I'm still entitled to think what I want to think about the proceeding itself and the defendant. I'm not a dodo bird. And you can't get mad because people have a perception of Mr. Kohberger. You have evidence against him. That is why the state brought forward an indictment. We don't know what other evidence the state has, and I'm sure it's more than just touch DNA on a sheath, his car being in an area. There are probably a multitude of things. DNA. Who knows? They might have more DNA. I don't know. On something. Who knows if he's been in the house, touched something. Who's to say somebody didn't see him going by the house, going in the house, circling the house, walking by the house, driving by the house? His data, searches, downloaded pictures, videos pertaining to the girls. See, you have no idea. If he's been in any of their jobs, locations, hanging around about, if there's somebody that can put him near these kids at certain places in Moscow. See, you don't know. But I trust the state with this case that they do have evidence against Mr. Kohberger. But once again, the court will have its own streaming feed. There'll be no outside media. And those are my updates. Asa, Sean Williams, and Mr. Kohberger. And then this information about Mr. Combs. He has settled a lawsuit with Cassie, but there is another woman who has come forward to bring forward allegations against him. I've also brought you content about Axl Rose, 1989 allegation, and Cuba Gooding Jr. 3 women have brought forward allegations against him. He's pled guilty to 2 of those assaults, groping, downgraded charges, and then a third one is from 2013. Thank you for joining me. Sorry about not letting you all comment. When I was setting up the stream, obviously I hit the button that said not for kids. Did not intend to do that because I really do lives from the YouTube platform, but I didn't do StreamYard, so that's why I will go back in and open up where you all can give your comments on the video. Thank you so much. Go to my community page to like the said content, take the polls, give me your commentary. I will put up a poll pertaining to Cuba, Axl, and Mr. Combs. And then we will wait to see who else will jump out our hat on Mr. Cuba, Mr. Axl, and Mr. Holmes. Because for Mr. Holmes, it does not look good. And I want your opinion on, do you believe these allegations by Miss Cassie? Why did she stay in a relationship with him when he started to do these things, beat her, the human trafficking, soliciting her to go get sex workers or whomever? How long did that go on? Did she ever come up short? Got to ask that too. Did she ever get any venereal diseases, anything? Because you're talking about having sex with him, breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. Then you talk about him asking you to go get sex workers. So did you use protection with he, them, those? Who all was actually having sexual relations with these sex workers? See, it's a lot to ask. This is why they tell you once you open the Pandora's box, can't close it. It'll die down eventually, but for right now, it's the hottest and latest topic. And it's a sad topic because as an African-American man, he shouldn't want any of these things being said about him, whether they were true or not. Gay, bisexual, now human trafficking, beating a woman, asking her to go pick up strange men as street workers. First thing people are going to say, well, who were they for? Why would you need her to go get men for her? She can go pick up her own man if she want to mess with men separately. See, this is bad. And then videotaping the last woman to come on board. And allegedly, Devontae from Jodeci saw the video and told her everyone had seen it. So is there verification that she was depressed, went into a hospital? How long did she try to stay in the entertainment business? You have to ask all those questions. And why in the world would you film her? And why in the world would you show it to other guys? That's so foul. But that's some R. Kelly SHIT. Let me show you what I did. Let me show you what I conquered, if this is true. So it's worse you violated a person and filmed them, but now you got to go show it to people and gloat. That shows that you're very insecure with yourself. One, that you filmed a woman while having relations. Then two, go show the damn tape to somebody else. That's so foul. And see, you should know that nothing good's going to come to you. Because that cat's got out the bag with R. Kelly. And if I'm to believe these allegations, they're now out about Mr. Sean Combs. So that's going to lead me to believe there's probably more. The women just didn't come out and tell it. And it happens all the time. Because as I said, when it comes to violating children, children don't tell people, hey, he did this to me, she did this to me. Why would they? So what you have to do is compare it the same. If a child can hold a secret of being violated, why do you think that an adult wouldn't do the same? The same reasons. Humiliation, embarrassment. What people are going to think. People are going to think, I made it up. It's not true. So the rules are really the same for a child and an adult. That's my commentary. Thank you all so much for joining me. Happy holidays to everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. I will talk to you guys later. Good night.